So, what happens when somebody gets an access point and plugs it into a network jack on your wall inside your building? And now you've got a Rogue AP. Well, it's pretty easy to stop them. If you've applied proper port security on your switches, guess what? That AP has a MAC address. That MAC address is not authorized to connect to that port on that switch. Which hopefully, if you've got a jack on the wall, then it's hopefully either not patched in or that port is shut down. Of course, a hacker could come in and say, find a network device that's plugged in, read its MAC address, and then use an AP that he's spoofed the same MAC address as the one that's plugged in, and he can plug that AP into the network. There are ways to detect that as well. Since the other device is hopefully not an AP, it's a laptop or a phone or something, now you've got a problem. Of course, the more serious problem is a honeypot, which I just talked about, but I'm going to tell you in more detail. So, let's say your SSID is enterprise network, and you have 100 access points and like 2,000 devices. So, I'm a hacker. I want to steal somebody's login information. How do I do that? Well, I buy an access point and I buy a power injector and I program the access point to be called enterprise network. So it's the same SSID as your network. And I put the access point in my backpack or in a parking lot or, wherever. Or maybe I'm a disgruntled employee, then I bring my backpack to work and stick it under my desk. And now you've got a whole bunch of legitimate access points and one fake one. But the people walking into your office with their cell phones and their laptops and their mobile phones and whatever, connecting to the Wi-Fi, their phone just connects to the access point with the strongest signal. Some of those are my access points. Some of them are legitimate and one of them is fake. But they have the same SSID, so as far as the phone is concerned, or the laptop is concerned, they're exactly the same. And so a whole bunch of your devices are going to connect to my access point. And when they do, I just stick them with a fake looking website that looks like, I just stick your logo on it. Most people are stupid, so it's pretty easy to make a website that looks semi-legitimate and people will stick their username and password on it, and now I've got their username and password, and I can come back later and connect to your network and steal all your data. And of course, I can do many other things since I own that AP. I can control pretty much any network resource I want and do whatever I want. Of course, it's preventable. How do you prevent it? Well, make your SSID hidden. So if you have a corporate network, you can put your guest network as public, and you can hide your enterprise network, and you can give it a completely random, ridiculous name, and then employees will have to enter the SSID to even get on the network. Of course, this is not foolproof because it can be leaked, and then the hacker knows the SSID. Or if he's a Rogue employee, then that's a pretty easy thing to do. We've also got, again, EAP TLS, which I just went over. And the EAP TLS says, hey, the Wi-Fi network has to prove that it's a legitimate network before the device connects. So if you connect to the honeypot doesn't have the same legitimate certificate as a corporate network, so a phone or laptop will recognize that this is an illegitimate network and it won't connect. Of course, it still will connect because laptops can connect to unsecured networks too. And the only way to enforce the policy is to use, a Windows group policy or a Meraki device manager and force each device to connect only to a network authenticated by EAP TLS, and also force them to only connect to your network and not to random public networks. So we can educate users, we can tell them about the honeypot. It doesn't always inspire confidence that we've got a honeypot in a building, and it's not very effective because this is a pretty sophisticated attack. We've also got RF shielding, which can keep Wi-Fi signals from getting into or out of your building. Obviously, that's not effective if the hacker brought the access point into the lobby or into one of your offices, which is totally doable. Physical security, you can search bags and make sure people don't bring access points into your building. Of course, how practical is that really? You get packages all the time. I highly doubt that a typical company is going to be able to keep a rogue access point from getting into the building. It ain't gonna happen. Of course, RRM can detect rogue APs even if they're not plugged into your network, and it can generally tell you the area, and then you can use that to locate the access point in the building and physically search for it and take it away.